Hello and welcome to another episode of Jason's Porsche channel. This is the first video I'm doing for the year 2025, so Happy New Year everybody. My wish for you is a prosperous and happy new year. But anyway, I've been off work for about a week and a half now, and I have spent every extra moment that I have had trying to chase down a very annoying noise that this car has had for quite some time now. Take a listen. So originally, this noise only came about when you ran over some rough pavement. There was some extra vibration in the car, something. But here lately, every morning on my way to work, I jump on the expressway and run up about 2 miles to the next exit. And every single morning, about 70, 75 miles an hour, this noise comes in very strong and it stays with you until you drop down below that speed. Thought maybe it had something to do with the stereo, the security system. It just drove me nuts. You still do hear it occasionally at 45, 55 miles an hour when you do hit some rough pavement or something. But anyway, I just decided I was absolutely going to track this down. I was going to make it my mission through this holiday season to rid myself of this noise. And so I went on forums trying to find things, and one of the first things that I found was somebody had their windshield replaced and it was done improperly, and there was something about this rubber strip here that was making a lot of noise. I came out, I looked, my rubber strip looks fine, but what I did notice was the front cowl here under the windshield wipers, this plastic piece. On the driver's side, it was up on the windshield, and on the passenger side, it was mostly dipped down below the windshield, just a hair below. So I went in and loosened everything up and set it on the windshield, and that really didn't, it actually made the sound seem worse. So I went back and I undid all the screws and nuts and slid it down to where it sat as far below the windshield as I possibly could get it. There was still a few places that, you know, on the edges and all, that it still sits up on top, and the sound was still there. While removing the covers, the battery cover and the cover from over the cabin air filter and the windshield washer reservoir, I realized that the torque bolt that were holding the two side covers down, you know, that goes into a rubber piece on top of the strut tower, there was nothing really holding that in. So I went in and did some research, got a part number, called around. Each of the two Porsche dealerships in this part of town, they only had one. So I ended up doing a big road trip to go around and get these small $5, $6 parts. But anyway, after coming home and installing those and taking it for a test drive, the noise was still there. Okay, so here's the new part. It's going to fit right in there. There is a nut on the inside. And this is what happens when you over tighten. So we're going to get rid of that. So we're going to take this, we're going to drop it in the hole. We're going to take our panel, making sure we put the tabs in the slot. Weather stripping. But after all this, I test drove the car again and again. The noise was still there. So I decided to remove the windshield wiper arms, remove the cowl, and get under there and see if I could find anything that might be flapping, making some sort of noise. I found nothing. There is a gap between the bottom of the windshield and a piece of the body, and I don't know if air could possibly go up in there, but I got a piece of weather stripping, cut it, and shoved it all up in there. But while I had my head down low looking with the flashlight, I started hearing a small ticking noise and realized that even though the key was not in the ignition, the horn was for some reason making a noise. Here's a video of that. So I don't know if the horn is supposed to make this noise even when the key's not in the ignition. I don't know if it's part of the security system. I don't know what it is. What I ended up doing was unplugging the horn. I used electronics cleaner to clean both sides of the plug, and then decided to leave it unplugged. Took it for a test drive, no noise. So I came home, plugged the horn back in, took it for a test drive, no noise. I don't know. I don't know if it's the weather stripping. I don't know if it's the fact that I cleaned the terminals on either side of the horn. I don't know what it is, but it was not there. In my research, I found out that the rubber bushings inside the steering wheel on the horn plate switch can wear out and cause the horn to go whenever you hit the brakes. Well, this has never happened when I hit the brakes. This only happens at speed during a little bit of extra vibration. So I didn't think it had anything to do with the steering wheel, but I was prepared to go in and try to add some O-rings or something to fix that, but it seems not to be necessary at this point. So thank God, after over a week of fooling with this thing, I've gotten rid of that noise. But when you get rid of one noise, of course, you start to hear another noise. The little CD holders, the little 4 trays that hold the CDs, vibrated like crazy. So I cut some little packing foam and put inside each one, and seems to have gotten rid of that. Then I noticed that the Lexan piece behind my head between the roll bars was making a noise. So I cut a little black piece of foam, shaved it down real thin, and placed it underneath that. Oh, and the I guess their motion sensor up by the latch for the convertible top, one of them had actually kept falling out, so I super glued it in because I really have no plans to ever have to get under there to fool with it. The second one, the passenger side one, vibrates and makes a lot of noise. So I put a few dabs of super glue on it and stuck it back up in there, and I have gotten rid of most all the noises now in this car except for body creaks and a little bit of suspension squeak. Not a lot of that though. I will say that the framework for the convertible top creaks a little bit, so I'm going to have to probably do some investigating and try to figure that out. Oh, and while doing these test drives to see if I'd gotten rid of the noise, I did come up with a new noise. Hey, cat. When you get up about 95 miles an hour, which I'm not saying I've ever done that, but what I did notice, I guess the convertible top tries to bubble up and makes almost a tearing noise as it comes away from the frame right in this area up here in the front. It was very scary when it did that. I guess this whole time I've never heard it because I've had so many other rattles going on around my head. But anyway, I got home and checked it really good. I don't see anything wrong with it. I guess it just had been not driven that fast in quite a while. And I'm not advocating for anybody to drive that fast, but these are cars that you can enjoy some spirited driving in. But anyway, guys, while I was at the Hennessy Porsche dealership in Alpharetta, Georgia, I was treated to some incredible eye candy. That's right, a Carrera GT. I mean, I've never even seen one in this area, anywhere for that matter. But I really like this blue. This thing is awesome. But not only was there one, they had 2 Carrera GTs, and I like the green even better. I mean, these things are just unbelievable. And check out how high up the stick shift is on the dash and that wooden knob. So cool. So cool. Mm, mm, mm. And how about this 911? Look at all the little extra arrow on this thing. The vents over the front wheels. Nice. And look at that. A 911 Dakar. Never thought I would ever be lucky enough to see one. This one's sitting here for sale. Obviously, these are some used cars. This Dakar, even though it's used, looks brand new, and it's over $300,000. Got the roof rack with the full set of gear. You got your jerry cans and shovel and whatnot up there. Yeah, this is so nice. If you don't know, this is a four-wheel drive, slightly lifted four-wheel drive 911 for off-road racing. Oh, here is a what is a 718 Spider. Very nice. The roof is 100% manual. You have to get out and snap that joker on. Very cool. Nice Cayman here. I'm not a big fan of the wings and things, but you know, if you were actually going to track the car, that would be really nice. And if you were going to track the car, this is the car to do it in. And they had so many 911s, Caymans. Check out this Cayman Club Sport here. This is actually a race car. If I'm not mistaken, it is on slicks. But yeah, that is really cool. Bare bones inside, track ready. And in the back, it has some kind of, I don't know if it's just air filter or if it's some kind of cooling system to cool the air before it gets into the engine so that the air is more oxygen rich. Full roll bar, of course. And I was really interested in checking out the newer Boxsters. Not only their front cowl area, which I was trying to figure out my own, but you know, a lot of other stuff because I don't get around a lot of other Porsche cars. I mean, I might pull up at a light next to a Panamera or an SUV or something. Oh my gosh, a factory installed cup holder. I am so jealous. But yeah, these new cars are really cool. But I will say, after seeing all of them, my old girl, she looked a little dated, a little haggard. Oh, look behind this yellow car parked in front of the crossways in front of the building. There's a really cool Lamborghini. I wish I'd got a close up. Ah, there's the old girl there. It looks a little tired. But I left there and drove and had to stop by a grocery store to get some things for my wife on the way home. And got some looks pulling through the parking lot in my old Boxster. So once again, I felt good about it. So anyway, funny how that kind of thing works out. But I hope this video helps you guys. If you've got some noises, if you've experienced the same noise, leave me some notes in the comments. I would love to know what you have found, because I'm afraid that it's going to come back. I don't know why it went away. I'm not sure if, like I said, if it's the weather stripping or just cleaning those terminals. Cleaning the terminals, electronic terminals in this car, not only have I done the horn, but I had a headlight. The driver's side headlight was kind of brownish looking, and I had brand new bulbs in it and couldn't understand why. And so I ended up cleaning the connections on either side of the headlight, pulled it out, sprayed, let it dry, put it back together, and the headlights were perfect. So I guess, you know, an older vehicle needs that. While I had the cowl up and everything, I did go through and clean and clean and clean. I found a lot more debris in there. It's very strange how this car is designed compared to the new ones. The new ones, the cowl meets the windshield like perfectly, so the water just runs over the top of the cowl. This one's not designed for the water to go on the cowl. It actually goes just underneath, and the water, just any rainwater that is, drops down into the battery area and everything, and then drains out a couple of drain holes. But oh, I did discover while looking with a flashlight all in this area. What I think it is, there's a loop right here on a cable, and evidently if something happens and your gas door gets locked and you cannot unlock it, there is a little loop right here. I'll get you a close-up of it, and you can pull it to release your gas door. Did not even know that was there in all my stuff I've done on this car over 4 years now. But anyway, I hope these tips help. Penny, you coming back in for the last little bit? This is my old girl Penny here. She's 16, still with me. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, like, leave me comments. I do read them all. And once again, Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.